Welcome to Where's My Sports At? On today's podcast, Anthony and I are joined by all round good guy and golf pro at the Pinnacle Point Golf Club in the Eastern Cape of South Africa, Franco.
Thank
Franco,
you.
my friend, welcome.
Thank you
It's a
very much,
pleasure to have
James.
you on the show. I really want to, thank you for making yourself available. You are a busy man, and I know I've been chasing you for a while to do this, and I can see you've actually got your golf shirt on, so you're still at work right now, are you?
Yes, I'm still at work. I just asked my boss for a quick pop away with a podcast from guys from Australia and well, you're from New Zealand, but living in Australia. And he said, "No, that's good. It's good for us as well. People can hear from Pinnacle. It's also good." So yes.
How old were you when you first started playing golf?
So it's hard for me to think back exactly what age, but I believe my granddad sent me a set of clubs when I was around 12, 13, and my father and I wanted something away from rugby and cricket just to, well, when we're in that focus, in that mindset, it's always very competitive, and so we want something just to move away a little bit from that competitiveness, and he bought us a range membership nearby, and yeah, that was the first time I started playing. Was 14, 12, 13, 14, in around that age.
And do you play when you started? Did you play every week, or was it like
Yeah,
after
no, it
school? I'm going
was
to go down to the
actually like
range every
once
day.
a week, maybe once in 2 weeks. Sometimes we even skipped a month. So I started really slow into golf actually. And when we were around
Hmm.
17, 18. We went to this club called Irene Country Club up in Pretoria, where most of the guys we went there. They had this special. They called it a sundowner special, where the guys pay 55 rand, and you can play as much holes as you can, and that was very cheap for us. So we went there and we played as much holes as we can with the guys and have good fun. So it was actually a very slow start for me into golf. It was more about the other sports first. So, but yes, once I picked it up, well, picked it up heavily was just after school, and I broke my first 90, I would say, when I was 19 years old, and I got my first handicap a month later, and I was already a nine handicap, and 2 months later, I was playing off a two. So it went really quick. I believe
Wow.
all sports helped me to get there,
Yeah.
of course, but I'm a competitive guy, so the spirit was there, and I wanted to be better than all my friends, and I picked it up really quickly.
Show me a South African who's not a competitive sportsman.
Yeah. They'll
Yeah.
tell you Hunter Cronje, but I believe still he was competitive.
I actually broke 90 for the first
Well
time at the age
done.
of 47. So pretty similar
Well done. I
career
heard
path there
this
as well.
crazy stat the
Yeah.
other day about you have a bigger chance to be in an airplane crash than breaking 80 playing golf. So it's maybe
Oh,
a Wikipedia source. I don't know how I can trust that one, but when I heard it, I thought to myself that's unbelievable.
you're right. That was a very late start, isn't it? I thought you were going to tell me some sort of crazy Tiger Woods story that you picked up a golf club at 5 and you're a prodigy by 9 or something or other. So that's a really short learning curve, isn't it?
For sure. And yes, I just tell my dad, why didn't you introduce me to golf earlier? Because if it was really, if I picked it up earlier, I believe I would have been in that competitive environment of kids playing against each other, competitions, going on tours, like I did in different sports, except for golf. So I wished I did that, and I would tell myself I'm behind, but you're not always behind. You can still, I believe, make it. The chances are not good, but it's there. If you want to, of course, then you can do
There you go, Anthony.
it.
Mm. Yeah. Still
There
hope
you
for
go.
me. But I think you're right though, because like I think sometimes you start early, you can
For
kind of
sure.
burn out a little bit by the time you get to your
Yeah.
late teens or when you hit your 20s. So maybe you found your passion a little bit later, and you've
Yeah,
still
of course,
the
and
fire's
that's
still burning a
important
little bit
part
later
for
on.
us as coaches as well. It's just to to tell the kids to have fun, and while they're having fun, you bring in fundamentals for them to learn the basics. If they get there and then you grind them from an early stage, they don't want to do it anymore. They lose that interest very quickly. So, like you said, yeah, that's important
Mm,
to
yeah.
split the two. They need to have fun.
So you talked about rugby and cricket. Don't tell me you were a prodigy at those sports as well, were you?
I played actually blue balls in primary school. I don't know what you call it in Australia or New Zealand, but it's called primary school. So it's just from the age of 7 to 13.
But were you a rep player? Did you make any rep teams in either of those two sports?
Yeah, so cricket not. I played first team always in cricket in primary school and high school, but rugby up until yeah my first blue ball teams was grade 6 and then grade 7 again. So it was club blue balls. We played yeah all the primary guys. You get invited and then you go to trials and then you make a team. So I was a scrum off. Um,
Oh,
yeah, so a little bit bigger scrum off. In primary school, I was actually very small, so I would have been a fuff. But then high school, I got too tall actually, and more of a years van der Westhuizen. So, but yeah,
yes, he was big.
yeah, he was a big scrum off for sure. So high school now, they told me I need to move positions, and I didn't move, so that's why I'm not a blue ball.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, I'm surprised that your father-in-law actually likes you because I know he has a big dislike for scrum halves.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, most of them on that age, my father as well, they struggle with the scrum off. So it's a difficult thing for them that the scrum off makes the most of the calls these days. And are we going to kick? Are we going to play forwards? Are we going to play backline? Where it was just scrum off takes the ball, give it out, and the fly off makes the calls.
Yes, yes, old Nas Border
For
styles.
sure, for sure, for sure.
But we're drifting off golf, so I'll
Yes.
take it back to golf and throw it over to Anthony. Anthony, I know you're brimming with questions, so I'm going to give it to you, my friend.
Yeah. Look, I honestly, I've got hundreds, but
I play off between a
what do you
plus
play
one
off at the
and a two.
moment?
So of course it depends on the course these days with how difficult the course are and with your handicap
Yeah.
index. So it's between plus one and two.
Wow, that's unbelievable. And so obviously, how long have you been a pro
So
now, working as a golf
actually I'm
pro?
still busy with my PGA apprentice. It's a 3-year course. Well, so I'm considered
Okay.
as a pro, but I'm not a pro part of the PGA membership yet. I'm
Yeah.
in my last year at the moment, so once I'm done with that
Right.
course, I'll be a PGA pro. But that started 2 years back in 2021. Uh, at the end of 2021, beginning 2022, so I'll say 2 years, but it's a little bit more. Um, so yeah, it was a quick start for me. It's a weird story actually. We moved from Pretoria to Mossel Bay, and I decided I didn't know what to do. My first year, actually, after school, I went to University of Pretoria studying investment management, and I just felt out of my place. I would like to work with people, and I love sports. So to get that balance for me was always difficult. And then you're in a third world country where if you're not a CA or doctor, there's not money to make. So it was a difficult choice for me, but my
Mm,
mother and my father actually backed me always, so they'll always try and help me in the route I'm choosing to go. But yeah, so the story is actually we moved here to Mossel Bay, and I wanted to get involved on golf courses, but I didn't know how the system works and how I'm gonna get part in the golf system, and I applied for a waiter job at Pinnacle Point, and I was a waiter here for 2 or 3 months actually, and I went down to the pro shop one day and I just asked the guys I want to buy alignment sticks, And the guy just looked at me like, "What you gonna do with alignment sticks?" And they didn't know I was a golfer. And because buying alignment sticks, it's not like
Yeah.
socks or whatever, balls or gloves. Alignment sticks is normally this guy likes to practice, or he's quite a competitive golfer. He likes to train or whatever. And I bought the alignment sticks, and the guy asked me if I play golf, and I told him yes. And he asked me, what do I play off? And I tell them, and they all were like, shocked, like, this, where's this waiter coming from, playing off a 1 or 2 handicap? And
Yeah.
Quinton, the golf director, invited me to for a meeting and asked me why don't I get involved in the golf industry, and we can help you with a PGA course, get me involved in the PGA course, get me in the golf operation area of Pinnacle Point. So that's actually the story that got me from a waiter to doing my PGA course.
Right.
Yeah.
That
That's unreal.
that's the
That
best
is a
story
great
I've
story.
heard.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's many ways to kill a cat. So it's if you want to get there, you can do it.
Yeah.
I'm just blown away. From starting late to working there
Yeah.
as a waiter to becoming a golf pro. It's wow. I'm blown away.
Yeah, it's interesting route I took.
I want to know,
Mm.
what does being a golf pro involve? I've seen your pictures on social media of you playing golf with ex Springboks, and it looks very glamorous and that sort of things. But on a day-to-day basis, what do you do?
So, well, if I start first with a quote of the PGA, it's touching lives through the game of golf. So it actually just means that we work with the people in the golf industry, and we try and better their experience in golf. So it's not always about yourself. We work with the members and try to make the golf course better, their golf game better, the retail aspect of golf better. So golf pro is it can sometimes be seen as being less and trying to make everyone's else better, whereas a golfer or a pro golfer, as I would say, is it's all about that guy. He needs to be looked after, where we try and actually look after them. So it's a little bit a humble experience, but it's good. I love it. I can't tell you how good it is. Every day, see the guy smile when you try and help him in golf, and eventually it clicks and it works. So even the young kids, I'm at a primary school at the moment. I'm the head coach there as well, where I see these guys, they run to you and they actually just sometimes they want a hug, or they want to talk to you about their one friend that was rude to them or whatever. It's sometimes just more than you're this pro golfer with your earpods in your ear, that's on the driving range. You don't care about anyone else. And I don't say not all of them are like that, but it's sometimes the case is that
Mm.
they just go to the range and hit balls. And I I believe what we're doing is very special, and it can go both ways, of course. But I believe being a golf pro, it's about the other people.
That's fantastic. Do you find golf's becoming huge in South Africa? I mean, similar in Australia at the moment, you can barely get on a golf course to have a hit these days. Is it
Yeah,
this similar sort of thing
it's
in South
huge.
Africa
It's I
post-COVID?
think the COVID, there was something in the COVID strain or whatever that affected everyone. That everyone wants to play golf these days. We are so busy. We actually doubled
Yeah.
our rates at Pinnacle Point over December time, just to not get the course that full. But it was still full. It's unbelievable how the people just try and play golf these days. Even the younger generations, all my friends. My dad told me, okay, he wasn't into golf that much. It's a Wikipedia source again, but it's he told me all the young guys don't play golf. It was the older generation that played golf, and I believe at the moment there's a big shift.
Yeah.
Um, it's a younger generations coming through playing golf, going on golf tours. I see more and more younger players coming through. So it's for me it's very good. It's very good.
I think those stats would play out because, other than Anthony, most of the other people I know who play golf are all fairly young.
You see, so that's a reliable source.
Wikipedia rules.
I think there was Rick. I think there was two bugs. I think there was COVID. There was a COVID virus, and then there must have been
For
a bug
sure.
that everyone got addicted to
Yeah,
golf
it's
at the same
booming.
time. It's
Well,
just amazing.
what can play a role is social media. Because I don't know if you know about these guys on YouTube. It's they're called Good Good and Foreplay Golf and Brian Bros. It's these younger guys playing golf, and I believe um, on their platform where the younger generations watch more YouTube or more Instagram, and they see these young guys playing and how fun it could be, and they do this nice challenges where it's not just very strict golf, but it's more laid back type of golf they play, and of course still strict if they want to, but it's they see this thing where you can play golf and it can be just fun. It's not about going to a country club invited by your grandparents and everything needs to be perfect and everything is so straightforward. It can also just be good fun.
I think so. I think
For
even
sure.
things like the clothes that they wear these days, like you look 20 years ago and
Yeah.
people were wearing baggy trackies and long socks and flat caps playing golf, and now it's like
Yeah,
there's cool
it's
stuff. You
I
you
work
get to
in
wear
the
cool
retail
gear these
store, so I
days.
can tell you there's a lot of new ways of well, getting the guys clothes, because I've seen hoodies even in the golf store, and I don't think I'm a big fan of that, but it's okay.
Yeah,
It's good for the other guys, so it's whatever floats their boat. It's good.
you've got the
Yeah,
Hawaiian
Craig,
shirts and all
that's a
sort that
great
people wear now.
great golf shirt.
Craig would get away with it with that shirt.
I wore it specifically for tonight. So your boss has been very generous, allowing you to have some time to talk to us. Do you want to tell us a bit about your course
Yeah,
or
so
your club?
Pinnacle Point is you said Eastern Cape, but it's very close to Eastern Cape, but it just falls into the Western Cape. Um,
Ah,
yeah, so it's Mossel Bay is actually used to be this quiet town in between George and Cape Town, on your way to Cape Town. So it's like 4.5 hours drive from Cape Town. But it's actually very, very popular overseas, especially in Europe. We have a lot of golf tours, especially this time of the year, up until April, which is our good weather months. Um, and Pinnacle Point is designed by Peter Makovich and Darren Clark, and it's on the sea. So there's around 6, 7 holes that you actually need to hit over the ocean, or where the ocean can be part of your shot. So it's unbelievable. If you Google it, you'll see you need to play. It's beautiful.
I had a look
Yeah,
online and I was like, oh, hole number
yeah.
7, look at that. And then I went to hole number 8 and I was like, wow, hole number 8. And then it went
It's
9,
very
10,
good.
and I'm
Yes,
like, okay,
number
there's too many to
7
talk about. I
gets
can't
you
I
over the
can't
sea.
narrow it
8,
down.
you can choose to play to the left, or you can cross the sea. On 9, there's a few tees where you also can hit over the sea. So it's unbelievable. I've never seen something like it, and it's actually special that we can get used to that view. But I try and tell myself, don't get used to it. Always appreciate the scenery, because there's people that never see that in their lifetime.
well, I've seen your pictures on
Mm.
Instagram and it looks amazing. And I'm pretty sure after Anthony finished Googling the holes, the next thing was flights to Cape Town.
Yeah,
Yeah, next
Anthony,
tour.
please come this way. We'll show you guys around. It's beautiful, and actually not just Pinnacle
Yeah.
Point. We have fan court that is just around the corner that has also unbelievable world class facilities, and they host European tour events as well. Samola, Pazula. In this area, we are really so lucky to have this stature of golf courses.
Yeah, online I was
Yes.
looking at it. Is it the Garden Route, which is the
Yeah,
coastal
they call it the Garden Route.
highway there with the
Yeah.
golf courses? And you know the Garden Route, yeah, and then obviously you got Mossel Bay, and there was another one close by, and then there's
Yeah,
4 or
so
5,
it's
just around the
Mossel
corner as
Bay,
well.
and then you get George, Wilderness, Knysna area, Plet, and then you almost move into the Eastern Cape, which is moved to Jeffreys Bay, St. Francis area, which is just outside the garden route, but it's still, we'll count it part as the garden route. Most of them.
And are they all links courses?
Samola is actually parkland. So it's a little bit, you can see the sea from the course, but it's a lot of tall trees, more tree line golf. George area is also more inland, so no, it's actually just Pinnacle Point that I'll consider as a links course in this area. Yeah, so some of them are next to the coast, but it can't be described as a links course. It's a lot of trees, tree line. It's not a links design.
Have you played on many courses around the world?
Some beautiful
or
courses.
Mostly just the ones in South Africa?
So it was actually my first time overseas when I visited you guys in Australia, and it was very special for me to see the courses around Australia and Perth area. And I believe there's more golf courses than buildings. It's unbelievable. You just drive, it's another golf course, another golf course, another golf course. And I was just going on this app where I use this GPS tracking how far you're from each hole, and I go onto that app, and normally it loads when you're close to golf course to choose which golf course you're nearby. And I was on that app, and it's just new course, new course, new course, and I can't believe how many golf courses there is.
Did you play on any?
Yes, I actually played Joondalup, and then I played this course on the coast, the Cut, I believe that's the name of the course. I played the Cut, and that was actually very beautiful as well. There's a few holes close to the sea. That gave me a Pinnacle Point vibe, but 3 or 4 holes was close to the sea, and then it moves a little bit more inland, and that's probably the closest you get to Pinnacle Point, but just not that. The correct word would probably be slopey. There is a few slopes, but Pinnacle Point, it's up and down like you can't believe. We golf cart compulsory actually as well, so you can't walk this course.
How do you train? What's your daily routine?
Very difficult because we're that busy, and I'm at the golf club helping here and there with the golf operations. But what I like to do is in the mornings early, the sun is actually in the perfect spot for me to see my shadow training, and it's a very weird thing I have, but I love to see my shadow a certain way when I practice. It helps me. It's like a mirror, this natural mirror that helps me to see what I do in my golf swing. But it's so morning practice would be good, and then I like to play during the day, like at 10 o'clock tee time, and then after play I normally don't go practice, but that's actually the most important practice. It would be after round, so I'll try and get that done this year, to practice actually after play, just to work on a few things that I picked up on the course that wasn't too good. But that here again, I'm a club pro, so playing is very important, but there's more to golf, and if you want to be a pro golfer, you need to practice at least 5 hours a day. And I have a few friends that play pro golf, and it's they practice so much, and it's not always about hitting balls, but it's go to the gym, stretching. There's such technical stuff they need to work on their mind, even how you breathe, how you walk. And you'll see most of the good golfers, they all walk the same, and they walk in a type of tempo that they want to play in. It's very, very technical. And I'm not sure who this guy is, but he actually did a study on how your walk can affect your golf, and if you walk slower or at a certain tempo. And Rory, all of them have this kind of jump in their walk, and that's actually very good for your golf swing. So it's so technical, but I believe those pro golfers, they work on everything. So that's quite interesting.
What about the Yeah. What about the gear? Like, does it the shaft that you use, the clubs that you use,
Yeah,
how does that
at
impact
a
on things
professional level is
at the
huge.
professional level?
It's so important. I believe the shaft is almost more important when you get to that level. No, I don't believe it's definitely more important. It's when you're amateur golfer, it's like if you can't drive a car, I can give you the best car in the world, but you can't drive a car. It's not going to change. But once you get to the Formula One level, that small
Mm.
details make a big difference. And it's the small details at the end that helps the guys. Even how big your grip is, the type of flex, where the shaft kicks, bottom, top, or whatever. It plays such a big role just in your how your swing tempo is, how fast your swing speed is. All that type of stuff comes down to you on the course. It's only you, the golf course, and the equipment you need to trust. So if you do that fittings before you play, it gives you a lot of confidence to know that you can do this. So that plays a big role.
What about for the average person who goes out once a week and has a round? Is not playing 5 hours a day. Do all the different things like brands, shafts, all these sort of things make much of a difference for them?
Club fitting will definitely play a big role in your golf. Having the correct equipment helps a lot. I believe going to a coach with the correct equipment helps. But let's say you don't have the correct equipment, I believe coaching is it's more important. Because if you can't strike the
Mm.
ball pure, if you don't move correctly in the golf swing, equipment will definitely help. But I believe there is more important things to playing good golf than equipment. But once you get to a point where you can strike the ball 80% of the time good, and you can get around the golf course, I believe getting the correct equipment helps a lot for sure. Getting the You get some guys that have tendencies to overdraw the ball or slices the ball, and there's clubs ball to help you. So it's unbelievable what they do these days with technology and how they can help you. But once again, if you can't swing the club or strike the ball more or less, uh, like I said, 80% good of daring around. There's going to be a small change if you have good equipment.
What is your favorite course to play on? Is it going to be Pinnacle Point?
No, well, Pinnacle Point, it's sometimes a lot of it's hard work. So during the round, it's how much does it play up and down, and there's or the ball's above your feet or below your feet, or you're hitting on a down slope or an up slope. So it's very technical. If you want to play very good, of course, when playing Pinnacle Points, and my favorite type of course would definitely be to play with my dad on Mossel Bay, which is nearby a municipal course, or with my granddad and a few friends, and just enjoy golf. But type of golf course would definitely be a links golf course, because Parkland, I believe you need to have a very, very good drive, because it can be really tight with the tree line. Where links, sometimes it's more open from the tee, but once you approach the green or around the greens, it's very tough. But I prefer that type. That's the best part of my game. I believe is my iron and my short game. So off the tee, I can hit it. I can hit it far, but I'm not that straight always. So I prefer links golf because that suits my eye sometimes a little bit better. But my favorite round would be with my dad and my granddad just at Mossel Bay.
Your favorite thing about golf? So you mentioned, yeah, yeah, your favorite thing about golf. So you mentioned your irons, your short game.
Well,
You think that's
yeah,
probably your
short
favorite part?
game. I actually love practice putting. It's not that it's very technical, but it's not that technical. But I believe to putt good, you need to be creative because there's not just one line. So and short game. You need to be creative. You can play a lot of different shots. So that would be one of my favorite parts of the golf practice. But to play, I believe that my favorite thing about golf actually is just how you can level the competitiveness with a handicap. I can play against my dad or my granddad, and you have a handicap. And at the end of the day, you play towards your goal or your how good you can play on the day. Because if you're an 18 and I'm a 0, I give you 18 shots, and it goes down to the wire at the end of the day who plays the best on the day. And I don't believe there's a lot of sports where you can do that, if there is any. If my friend
Yeah.
is very good at tennis and we go play tennis now, there's no fun for him in that. He's just going to destroy me. I'll give it my best because I'm a competitive guy, but I'm not a tennis player. And so where
Hmm.
golf, if you have a handicap, it all goes down to the day who plays the best to their potential.
Wicked, wicked. I've got a couple of other questions which were sent in by James. The first one is, how much does having a good caddy improve performance?
It plays actually a huge role. It's so important. I talked to this guy, Jake Lewis. He's one of now actually a good friend, but we coached together at Louis Oosthuizen's academy up here at the driving range at Pinnacle Point. And he told me the other day that the way he chose his caddy always, and it was always for him more emotional support or mental decision. So his caddy was always just there to keep him motivated, to help him stay in it, or just have a laugh between walking between holes. So he didn't like a technical caddy that helped him with yardages or the wind, because he felt that he's a perfectionist, so he does need help, but you can always get help, of course. But he felt that his decision is always the best, so he just need a guy that can help him with the mental side of the game. But of course, a caddy helps so much. Most of the guys they can't play well without the correct caddy. They need someone for a second opinion. In the moment, sometimes you make the wrong decision because it's like the rally drivers. I always thought, why is that guy sitting there with a book telling him short left, short right, short left, short right? And sometimes you just need that assurance that yes, it's going to be a short left. But that guy drove that
Mm.
what circuit or whatever so many times. He knows exactly what to do. But that guy just give him that little bit of reassurance every time. A little bit this, a little bit that, a little bit this, because in the moment, in the heat of the moment, it's that small millimeter that makes a big difference. And I believe a caddy can sometimes just help you in the heat of the moment to make the correct decision.
Wow, never thought of that before.
Yeah,
Yeah. It's particularly because it's such an individual sport. I suppose having someone there, even just to bounce off, can
for
make
sure.
a mental,
And
such a
the
mental
mental
difference for
side,
you.
once you get to pro level, it's almost more important. All that guys can shoot
In all sports like that, isn't it?
all sports, yes, for sure. And you get guys, Aldrich Potgieter, he won the British he was part of Pinnacle Point's, well, Louis Oosthuizen's golf academy, and he won the British last year. And he told me he went
Mm.
for this trials, Corn Ferry Tour qualifying trials in America, and he qualified and he played a few events now on the Corn Ferry Tour. And he actually told me he's played in the Masters before, and he's played in a few PGA Tour events as well. And he told me the guys on the Corn Ferry Tour is just they're better golfers than the guys on the PGA Tour, but they don't have the mental strength to compete again on that level. And he just told me that guys are pure talent on the Corn Ferry Tour. They strike the ball better, they play better golf, but when it comes to the mental side, they just can't stay on that level week in and week out. So I believe
That's amazing.
that's why you need to work on the mental side as well. like I said, more important once you get to that level.
Okay, I've got
Go,
one
mate.
last question from James, and then I'll throw it to Anthony for any ones that he has. James has said, "Do you have any club preferences, like in relation to brands, balls, shoes, these sorts of things that you think are the goods?"
It's very hard for me to tell you in clothing I prefer this brand or that brand because the price difference, let's say from a Peter Miller or Fujoy shirt, but it's very expensive. Of course, is going to be better than Rhode Island or one of the lower brands. But it's in golf equipment itself. I love the way Mizuno go about the forging. They call it the art of forging process. So I play with Mizuno irons, Callaway driver, and I prefer Titleist Scotty Cameron putter. But Mizuno, they actually use this. They call it the single billet of steel, which they forged in this heating process they use. But they use this single billet of metal, whereas different companies or brands use a different process to build the irons. But Mizuno used this almost like they used with the samurai swords, the single metal which they forge into something perfect, and I believe that makes it a lot softer. So Mizuno would use this quote that they just say nothing feels like a Mizuno, and that comes down to how good they mold and forge that piece of metal into something that can be so beautiful and so soft. Actually, when you hit it, it's unbelievable for me how Mizuno does it. It's next level for sure.
Sales of Mizuno will go through the roof in Australia after we put this on YouTube.
Mizuno is actually big in Australia. I, I
I'm
don't
going out
see
and getting
Mizuno
some.
that often in South Africa, but when I went over there and I walked in the pro shops, I was so just blown away how a lot of Mizuno stock I see on the racks, and it's not that big brand. If I talk to my friends about Mizuno, I play Mizuno, they like, what brand is this? And they just know TaylorMade, Callaway, Titleist, and that I believe Mizuno doesn't sponsor so much players on tour. That's why you don't see it. But let's say Titleist or TaylorMade, they pay millions and millions to sponsor players to play with their products. So you can't just always trust that Tiger Woods used TaylorMade, it's the best. They get paid so much money to play with that equipment, and that's why I enjoy
Mm.
a brand like Mizuno, because yes, they have a few sponsored players, but it's just the way they do. It speaks for itself. It's not you need to pay someone to play with a product to tell you it's good. If you play with it, you'll feel there's a big difference.
Very good, very good. Anthony, mate, do you have any last questions for Franco before we let him get back to work?
Yeah. So,
So
what's the future hold for you, Franco?
yes,
Tournaments, Corn Ferry
like
Tour,
I
PGA,
told you guys
the
in the
Masters?
beginning, I feel like I'm a little bit behind to get to that level, and for me to actually reach that level, I need to drop the job, and that's not what I want to do. I can always try my best in off days or whatever practice, but I don't think that is my passion. To be honest, I would love to just compete in our local pro am competitions where we play for money as well, and I believe that's good enough for me on the playing competition. But actually, I would love to have my own center where I can get guys that walk in and fit them with clubs, get them into coaching, help them with the mental part, give them a program on training, give them a program on what to eat. So you take this golfer coming in, you give them the whole package, and of course, younger golfers. I would love to do it with younger golfers that doesn't know where to start with how to get into pro golf, and you give them that whole thing, coaching, everything, psychologist, everything they need to succeed in sports. I believe that's my passion. If I can have that center where I can get young guys in and I can give them everything to be successful in the sport. I think that is my dream.
Legend. That sounds amazing. Yeah, that sounds like it's probably something that hasn't really happened. You've talked about the academies there, and I'm sure we have academies here as well. But I don't think to that level where you're talking about nutrition and all
Yeah,
the other aspects that go
yeah.
into it as
Of
well.
course, you
Really,
need
so
money
people understand
to do
exactly what it
that.
takes.
But like the academy, it's for free for the guys actually to be in our academy because of Louis Oosthuizen
Hmm. Okay.
fundraising. So he makes it possible for the younger guys, and he was
Yeah.
actually in Ernie Elsa's foundation when he was younger, which made it for him possible
Oh
to
wow.
reach the level where he's at today. So we'll need a lot of funding to do that, of course, but it's like I said, if you want it, you can do it. So um, I want that, and especially for the younger kids
Yeah.
in South Africa, you get a lot of kids that struggle and that don't have the money to even have golf clubs. So if you have something like that, we can get a lot of and like you can see in the rugby these days, Siya Kolisi or whatever that came out of poverty. Someone saw something in him and he succeeded. So we have so much talent in South Africa, and if we can
Hmm.
get them through that process in golf, which is a very expensive sport, we can get more of the guys that struggle at home to be successful.
Look, you guys are so good in so many other sports. You don't need to be good in golf as well. I think that's being a bit greedy.
We actually have the third most major trophies in the world. So I've heard that it's America, England, and then us. So it's we're actually very good already, Greg. But we want to be better always. Gary
That would be
Player
Gary
for
Player. It's
sure.
himself, wouldn't it?
Trevor Immelman, Louis Oosthuizen, Ernie. So
Yeah.
it's we have a lot of good players.
Ernie. Yeah.
Mate, hey, look, on behalf of myself, and I just want to say thank you for your time. It's very generous of you to make yourself available during your working day to fulfill the passion of people like us who love talking to people about sports. So once again, yeah, thank you very much, my friend. It's really good to see you again, and thank you to your boss as well.
Yeah, thank you so much, guys. It was awesome talking to you again. Yeah, I would love to do this again and again and again because there's always so much to talk about and to hear what everyone wants to hear. And then I think again, well, for me, it's now I see this as a day-to-day thing. But if people ask questions about it, I know it's not that simple always to everyone. So it's very cool. Thank you so much.
Cheers, mate. Really appreciate it.